For my second pick of the Week 5 Sunday six-pack presented by FanDuel, and the third overall, I am going with the Tampa Bay Bucks -9 at home against the Atlanta Falcons. And I've been off. Yeah, I'm not quitting this. Like, I trust the process. I am. This is funny because we could talk about this more as the show progresses, but I believe I'm 34-11 on NFL bets this year. And I think half of the losses are just like Bucks and Steelers. But trust the process. I look at this game and let's forget about the Bucks. Let's start talking about the Falcons first, because the Falcons were a team I think both of us liked coming into the year, felt they were a little undervalued, a little feistier than people thought. But this is a major letdown spot for the Atlanta Falcons. They're coming off 2 straight upset wins. They're coming off 4 straight covers. They're the only team that has not lost a game against the spread. They're facing a motivated Bucs team that's coming off 2 losses, which is almost unheard of, especially for Tom Brady. But a Bucs team coming off 2 straight losses, a Bucs team that's on their 3rd straight home game. And then you're doing all this with a defense that's especially going to be motivated because it got embarrassed after it gave the Chiefs some bulletin board material, which I should have got out of that bet the minute Shaq Barrett said that. Like, I hate when guys do that. Like, oh yeah, we're going to have a coming out party against the Chiefs. Well, look, not only do you not, but then they run all over you as well to add insult to injury. So, not ideal, but I think they'll be back focused this week.
Are you worried about the Bucs D at all? Are they like getting old or?
So I'll talk I'm not, because I look at the Bucs.
Sometimes the Chiefs just have a performance like that when Mahomes goes nuts. I felt like Mahomes was just on his shit that game. Like, you could tell it was going to be a Mahomes Chiefs game when they came out and immediately they got whatever they wanted to Kelce. Because, like, if you just look at the matchups, Travis Kelce is obviously one of the most dangerous players in the league. If there's any defense that should be able to slow him down, it's Tampa Bay. They have 5 safeties that are you could consider, plus level. They have linebackers that can cover. They have corners that can lock down the outside, so you can double. You do whatever you want. And they just couldn't, it was just one of those games. But I'm not worried about the D, and here's why. Number one, for this matchup, the Falcons are without Cordell Patterson. And that is, I know they ran a ball at Huntley, and everyone's all excited about Algier and Huntley and pick up some waivers on fantasy, but Cordell Patterson was different. Like, he was a weapon. He was somebody the defenses had to account for. He's not just a guy that's in your backfield on a team that wants to run. So I think that's a big loss. But the Falcons Pitts might be out too, but does he even matter now?
I gave Kerner the line on our podcast, 52.5 receiving yards, and Kerner went under. So it's been rough for Pitts. They're gonna need him in this game. But listen, look at the Bucs. This is the Bucs defense this year. Okay, so they allow Dallas. They hold Dallas to 3 points. They hold New Orleans to 10 points. Green Bay scores twice, first 2 drives. They keep them scoreless for the next 9 drives of the game, to the point where they had a game they had no business being in. They almost tied it at the end. So I consider that a good day by the defense. If I could get Rodgers 14 points, I'd take that all day, every day. And then they have a bad game against the best quarterback in the league. Okay. Now they're going against this Falcons team that Marcus Mariota completed 7 balls last week. And I was fading Baker Mayfield last week. That worked out well. Well, Marcus Mariota, a guy who I have liked, especially for fantasy purposes, but I talked about Mayfield last week being the second least accurate passer from a clean pocket, which is always a troubling thing because pressure, it's going to, throw things off, but you have to be able to take, kind of capitalize on a clean pocket. Well, who's last? Marcus Mariota. So against this Bucs D that's number 3 in pass defense, DVOA, I think it's going to be a really rough go, especially without Patterson, because he just adds so much in terms of the creativity to that offense. And the Bucs, I know they're middling in run defense rating right now, but they're going to be there near the top of the league when the year ends. They are every year. So this is just a really tough matchup for them. In the 2 games last season, and granted, it was a little different Falcons team, but 2 games since Arthur Smith took over, Bucs outscored them by at least 13 in both games, 78-42.
in total was the scores. And, the Bucs offense finally should be healthy. I know Brady's going through some things on the injury report, but he finished the game against KC and looked fine. I think really what he just needed was his receivers back. And Chris Godwin played 85% of the snaps last game, caught a bunch of balls. Mike Evans is back, so that's good. And, maybe we'll get another game from Julio. Who knows? He's kind of on that Shaq Leonard train of like, does he really exist? I don't know, but I'm gonna bet against the Falcons continuing to be undefeated against the spread. I'm gonna bet on a quarterback who almost never loses two in a row against the spread, or any time, much less 3. So he is 66-37-2, 64% coming off against the spread loss since 2003. He is 43-17, 72% against the spread coming off a straight up loss. He is 8-2 against the spread coming off multiple losses. And when facing an undefeated team against the spread, he's 15-6, 71%, the most profitable quarterback in that spot in our Bet Labs database, which goes back about 2 decades. So I'm going to continue hammering Tampa Bay. I think this is a smash spot for him. I know people are going to try to get cute and say, there's value on the Falcons at the big number because they've been covering. But I just think without Patterson against a team who can stop the run and cover, and the Falcons, by the way, get no pressure. They're third lowest in pressure rate. So whatever has been ailing this Bucs offense, like the Chiefs actually get decent pressure. They face the Cowboys, they get a lot of pressure. They face the Packers, pretty okay defense, not the greatest, but still a tough test. And then they face the Saints, who always give them trouble. So this is the easiest defense they faced, the toughest offense the Falcons have faced. And I think finally the 4-0 against the spread Atlanta Falcons will come crashing back down to earth. So give me Atlanta. Give me Tampa Bay -9.